G'day guys, welcome back to the channel. Welcome to a video that I am very excited for. It is time to reveal to you guys my NFL predictions. Now the last 2 years I've gone amazing in NFL predictions. This year I'm doing a full ladder prediction. I've predicted, I think it's 234 games. I spent the time going through it in both the AFC and the NFC all the way to the Super Bowl. Let's see where your team is ranked. So let's actually go from the bottom to the top, and a surprise one here in 16 seed in the AFC. I've actually got the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now I know the Steelers were okay last season, but this year they acquire Aaron Rodgers. If he goes down, they struggle a little bit in the QB department. I know they have been great with Mike Tomlin for years. I think this will be Mike Tomlin's last season as coach, and I think they are in for a shocking year. I reckon their record is going to be 4-13, 2-4 there against the division, still winning some divisional matchups, but not enough, and finishing really low. I've got Pittsburgh. In 15th spot, I've got the Jacksonville Jaguars. Similar to last year, they had some injury throughout the year, but they were very inconsistent when they got players back as well. I think their record's going to be 5-12, 1-5 against the division, so pretty poor year for Jacksonville as well. However, I think they might win their first game of the year. 14th spot, I have the Titans. The Tennessee Titans should improve just a little bit to avoid the bottom seed, but they're still not going to be great. Still a very young team as well. Tony Pollard will lead the way in running, but they just don't have much offense for mine just yet. So I've got them at 5-12 record there as well for Tennessee. 13, I've got the Cleveland Browns. A little bit of an improvement, but nothing major from the Browns this year. I think their record against the division will be poor, 1-5, but overall I've got them 5-12 for their overall record. Next up, I've got the Raiders. I think the Raiders will improve quite a little bit this year. I still think there's some players from last year, like, Brock Bowers, who had great seasons, but were still so young. And now they get a little bit more time to develop as the season goes on. They should go on a bit of a run. I've got their record 6-11. I could see them higher, though. In 11th spot, I have the Miami Dolphins. Now, the Dolphins are a team that you never know with the Dolphins, especially the injuries to Tua Tagovailoa. I hope he can get through a full season, but it's doubtful because he just never seems to be able to do it. And they can unlock their potential, but I feel like they've reached their ceiling, and their ceiling wasn't all that high, and it's been a couple years now. So, look, I've got them 3-3 against the division. I think they'll be good in their division, but I think their overall record is going to be 6-11 for the Miami Dolphins. In the 10th seed, I've got the New York Jets. Now, I think the Jets improve a lot here. I think they've got some offensive weapons, and Justin Fields is going to be out with a point to prove with his new team as well. I think they showed some nice signs of improvement last year, but not enough. And I think this year, Jets fans will have something to cheer about. I don't think they're a playoff team. I know a lot of people think they can make it. I don't think they're going to be in the playoffs, but I think their record's going to be okay with 7-10. However, struggling against the division with only 1 win out of 6 games for the Jets. Now, another improver, bit of a surprise packet here. The New England Patriots in the 9 seed in the AFC. I think the Patriots are going to be good this year. I really do. And I think the Patriots actually are a chance to return to the playoff. But I have them just outside the playoff. I have their record at 8-9, 2-4 against the division. But a much better year from New England, who have been knocking on the door. Last season, they had some nice games. I think they can do a lot better than last year. And previous years, mind you. In 8th position, I've got the Indianapolis Colts. Now, the Colts could easily make the playoffs. Anthony Richardson is a very good player, but I just don't know if they can do it. They're an aging team as well for mine. I've got them 8-9. I do have a good record against their division, though, 4-2, but just avoiding the playoffs there. So, in the 7th seed, I have the LA Chargers. Now, the Chargers under coach Justin Herbert. I went and saw the Chargers against the Ravens last year. They put in some good performances against the teams that were quite good towards the end of the year, and they could go a lot better this year as well. I think I can't remember who it was, but I know they brought someone back from that used to be a Charger is coming back. Same with the Bears as well. A lot of people going to their old teams. But look, Chargers are going to finish 7th. They're going to finish 3-3 against their division. And I've got their record at 9-8. Massive opening game against my Kansas City Chiefs as well. Speaking of the Chiefs, you would love to put them in the 1 seed, but I'm going to be realistic here, and I think that we are going to make the playoffs just. I think we are going to finish in the 6th seed in the AFC with a record of 11-6. So in our division, a better record than the Chargers. But I do have us in the 6th seed. Look, we made the Super Bowl last year and we're absolutely embarrassed. We've been a very dominant team for years now, and we're starting to get found out a little bit. Now, Patrick Mahomes is amazing. Travis Kelce is his final year now that he's looking to, get married, have a family, different things after NFL. I think the Chiefs look good coming into this year, but I think there are some teams that are above them for mine, and I'm a little bit scared. However, even if we finish in the 6th seed, I am pretty confident that we can go on a bit of a run later in the year. Now, in the 5 seed, I've got the Cincinnati Bengals. Now, the Bengals for mine, if Joe Burrow is healthy, if this team is firing on all cylinders, their offense is very hard to stop. And even in some of their games last year, they put up a lot of points, went on a record, and almost made the playoffs. I've got them back in the playoffs. I've got them 2nd there in their division. 5-1 against their division as well. 12-5 record overall for the Cincinnati Bengals. Now, in the 4 seed, I have the Houston Texans going back to the playoffs here. I've got them 9-8. I think the Texans are a pretty solid team overall. CJ Stroud at the back, Tank Dell, Joe Mixon. There's a lot to like about this team. 5-1 record against their division, a fairly easy division for the Houston Texans, who shouldn't fall off too much at all. In the 3 seed, I've got the Buffalo Bills. Now, I do have the Bills at 6-0 against their division, which is massive for them. I've got their record 11-6, but I think that I think their ceiling has been reached, and I don't necessarily think that they are going to win the Super Bowl or even be in the Super Bowl. I don't trust this team that has been favourite for 3 years now to do what everyone's expected them to do. A very good team last year, a solid roster once again this year, but I still think they fall off a little bit. 11-6 record overall. In the 2nd seed, one of the surprise packets of the year, I've got the Denver Broncos. Now, the Denver Broncos broke their playoff drought last season, and man, I think that they're going to go even better. I think Bo Nix was doing a job, Jamal Williams, Cortland Sutton. There is a lot to like about this team, and now that they've had some playoff experience, even though they lost that game, their mindset is going to be a bit vengeful, and I think they're going to be a very good regular season team. I think their record is going to be 12-5 for the season and 4-2 against the division in a bit of a tough one there. But the Denver Broncos, for mine, are 2nd in the AFC. And in the 1st seed, I've got the Baltimore Ravens. I've got their record at 13-4. I think they're going to be a very good team this year. I think that Lamar Jackson not winning the MVP last season, Josh Allen winning it, I think it's going to make Lamar angry. I think the back-to-back exits are going to make Lamar angry, and he's going to be in for a massive year. So that's what I have in the AFC. Moving on to the NFC, and in 16th spot with a record of 3-14, 1-5 against their division, I've got the New Orleans Saints. Not much to say about them. I couldn't even tell you 5 Saints players these days compared to what I could in previous years. In 15, I know a lot of people expect this team to rise, but I think with the trade of Micah Parsons, it's not the time yet. In the future, they'll get their chance. But right now, I don't expect much from the Dallas Cowboys, and I've got their record at 5-12 and 1-5 against the division as well. Let's see what Dak can do. We've seen some great moments from him, but yeah, I don't expect too much from the Cowboys this year. Now, another big faller, I've got the Minnesota Vikings. I know a lot of people think that this team is absolutely fantastic. I think last year was a little bit of a fluke year for Sam Darnold, who obviously has changed team to the Seahawks, which I'll get to. But I think they're going to be pretty poor. I think they're going to be 5-12. 2-4 against the division, so not too bad when you're in a division with the Bears, the Packers, and the Lions, who are all, looking like good teams going into this year as well. But overall, not expecting too much from Minnesota there. In 13, little bit of an improvement, not too much of an improvement though. Don't get too excited. But the New York Giants, I think they will finish 2-4 against their division, which isn't too bad in the division of Eagles, Commanders, and Cowboys as well. But I am going to go with their overall record being 5-12, so not the greatest record there for the Giants. Another year of heartbreak, but I think Giants fans are used to it at this point. In 12th spot, I've got the Arizona Cardinals. This is a team I'm not too sure on. Is it time for them to, return to the playoffs and have a massive season? Potentially. Watch this space. I think they are a bit of a danger team this year. I think they can beat a lot of sides. I have them 1-5 in their division though, but I do have them at 6-11 as their overall record. Don't be surprised if they end up finishing in the 6 seed, 7 seed though. I think they are a team that could be a surprise packet. Next up in 11th, I've got the Atlanta Falcons. 2-4 against the division and 6-11 in the overall record there for Atlanta. Not much to say here, but obviously Kirk Cousins is there, Michael Penix Jr. I'm not too sure on Falcons players as well, and I'm not in NFL fantasy. I've said it for years, but still haven't done it. In 10th spot, big improvers, but just missing out on the playoffs. Very, 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 very close. With a 6-11 record, a 2-4 against the division, which isn't too bad as well. The Chicago Bears, I think they really could be there. I think they are looking a lot better in recent years, but being in the division and the teams they've got above them just makes it too tough for me to pick them to make the playoffs. So I've got them in 10th spot there. In 9th spot, I've got the Carolina Panthers. A little bit of another improver. I think they had a great run last season, and I think they're going to build off that momentum. They're going to have a great record in their division of 4-2. However, 8-9 keeps them out of the playoffs in 9th spot. Now, in the 8th seed is going to be a very unpopular opinion. I was quite high on this team all year, and I said that they were genuine contenders. They have great players within their team, and they have a very young quarterback who has done some amazing things, especially, I think it was week 1, I think it was, sorry, of the playoffs. Call me crazy, but I think the Washington Commanders missed the playoffs. I think they're going to finish in the 8th seed, 11-6 overall record. So very, very close. 3-3 against a fairly easy division for them. But I think they just miss out. So don't come at me, Washington fans, but I think they miss out. Now, on to the Seattle Seahawks. Sam Darnold, Cooper Kupp. A lot to like in Seattle this year. And as for the Seahawks, I have got them 3-3 in their division, 11-6, and a return to the playoffs in 11-6 in the overall record for them. Just speaking of their division, I've got the Rams in 6. I think the LA Rams are going to be good again this year. I think they were, they were close to going on a deep run last year. I think they won week 1 and lost week 2 from memory. And they came very, very close in a lot of games last season that could have gone either way. Really enjoyed watching the Rams and the Eagles last year. Rams 11-6, 3-3 against their division. Into 5th spot, I've got the Green Bay Packers. A lot of people are saying this team will be a 1 or 2 seed. I can see it, but I also can't. I think there is some very good components to the Packers building, and I think they are a dark horse in the NFC. Micah Parsons' trade is huge, but is it winning an NFC championship or even a Super Bowl worthy? I don't think so. I still think there is some work to be done at the Packers. And you know what? Mid-season signings could happen that could change this. But I've got them 13-4 in the overall record. So a really nice record this season. 4-2 against their division, wrapping up the 5 seed. Into the 4th seed, they win their division once again. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers. 3 games over the Carolina Panthers. I've got them with a record of 11-6, 5-1 against their division. I think they'll be too good this year once again. Now, into the 3 seed, a bit of a surprise one, I guess, because last season they weren't as great. 5-1 against their division as well, which is a very tough division. I'm actually going to go the San Francisco 49ers here. I think that the 49ers have a bit of a bounce back year, and I think they are a team of veterans as well. They're starting to... No, Brock Purdy's still pretty young, but they are starting to get a little bit older. The window's starting to close, and this could be a year where they really put the foot on the gas. So, in the 2 seed, I have the Detroit Lions. I've got the Detroit Lions 4-2 in their division, finishing at the top there. I've got them 13-4 in their overall record. I think the Detroit Lions will be great again this year. However, I don't know if they are going to go to the Super Bowl. I thought last year was their chance, and they unfortunately blew it there against the Commanders. Speaking of the Super Bowl, I have the winners of last year's Super Bowl, the Philadelphia Eagles, at the top of the NFC with a 14-3 and a 6-0 overall record. Massive record against the division here. But Philly have retained this lethal, amazing team, and they are building something special, and they could go on, what the Chiefs did back-to-back, potentially three-peat as well. Team looks very, very good. But let's have a little bit of a chat about the AFC Championship and the Super Bowl. All right, so let's do it. AFC Championship prediction is the 2nd seed Denver Broncos at the 1 seed Baltimore Ravens. Now, who from the AFC here is going to go into the Super Bowl? I think the Baltimore Ravens. You could easily make an argument that every year they choke, even when they are at home. But I think they can get over the Chiefs in week 2, I guess. And then I think they can progress to this game against the Denver Broncos and earn themselves a spot in this year's Super Bowl. Now in the NFC, I've got the number 3 seed, San Francisco 49ers, away to the 1st seed, Philadelphia Eagles, at home. And look, this is a really tough game to pick, but I'm on the bounce back. I'm going to go the San Francisco 49ers. I think they're in for a big year this year. They were very good just 2 years ago. Missed out last year. As I said, they've got some veterans within their team that just know how to get it done. Philly did it last year. Can they do it again? I think they just fall short in the NFC Championship game in a very, very tight one. So my Super Bowl for 2025-2026 season is the Baltimore Ravens of the AFC versus the San Francisco 49ers of the NFC. And winning the Super Bowl is the Baltimore Ravens. They have choked for too long for mine, sort of like the Bills, but I have no trust in the Bills. I still have faith in, Mark Andrews, even though he made that massive error. Isaiah Likely, Derrick Henry, Lamar Jackson, up against, Christian McCaffrey, Brock Purdy, Deebo Samuel. There is a lot to like about the 49ers, but for mine, I think the Ravens are a more complete team, and I think that they are going to win, especially getting that rest will do them good in that first week of the playoffs, whereas the Niners will be playing, and that is my Super Bowl prediction. I'd love to sit here and say the Kansas City Chiefs, but I'm not too biased. I actually think that the Baltimore Ravens will take out the Super Bowl. But I want to know who you think will take out the Super Bowl. I hope you're looking forward to some NFL content on this channel. I'll be doing my weekly tipping videos. I really enjoy it. And a little bit of an announcement for you. I'll actually be going to an NFL game this season. I'll be going to the, drumroll, Chiefs at the Bills in Buffalo. I believe it's week 9. Yes, I'll be there in Buffalo. Nice seats too. Hopefully I can see Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift and the GOAT himself, Patrick Mahomes. Very keen to see you in person. Just a shame that I couldn't be there at Arrowhead. But make sure you subscribe if you're new around here. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'll see you guys later.